you own it. Let every mile bring a smile, yeah.
Welcome back to the Road to Life podcast. Back with you. Today we're talking about dream work. And I think a lot of people have probably heard the I don't know what it's called, but the statement that it's teamwork makes the dream work, which comes up a lot in sports and stuff like that. We actually believe the opposite. We reverse that. And we actually believe it's the dream work that makes the teamwork. And we'll explain why that is in this episode. So why don't you get us kicked off, McKay?
Well, in the last episode, we talked about throwing the challenge flag.
Yeah.
And we used the example of us right after our, coming out of our corporate lives and making this transition into entrepreneurship and, starting that company that we were miserable and hated and then shutting that company down. And one of the perspectives through which we examined that life choice, when we threw the challenge flag and had that conversation about, is this what we actually want? And, how does it affect us as individuals in our relationship? And one of the parts of that conversation was, does this align with what we want our life to look like? Does this business align with how we see our future? And until you had thrown that challenge flag and we had that conversation, we had no idea. We hadn't sat down and done the work. We didn't know what we wanted our future to be. We didn't know what we wanted our life to look like. And
because we didn't, we were floundering. We were just like a rudderless ship. We were just kind of out there floating in the ocean with no direction. We weren't headed in anywhere.
We were a ship lost at sea. That's how we ended up in that business that we started being miserable.
Yeah, and so I think that's why we say it's the dream work that makes the teamwork. Because once we got into that situation, we realized that we need to know what it is that we want in life.
Because all we knew in that moment was this isn't working. This is not what we want. So let's figure out what it is we do want.
Right. So we did a lot of work.
We did a lot of work. We started with an exercise just to get clear on what we wanted our life to look like in all aspects.
Yeah, totally.
All aspects of our lives.
But it was basically our dream life. We just built out what our life plan, what we want life to be and how we want to get there.
Yeah, we articulated it. We literally wrote it down because it can float around in your head.
Yeah.
And so take it out of your head and write it down. And one of the key components of us doing that was we were taking the approach of living a life by design.
Yeah.
Because up until that point, up until, the fork in the road that we talked about from the first couple of episodes where our company was closing the office and, that's when we exited, took the exit ramp. We were on living a default life. We were on the default life highway, doing the thing, the corporate job, checking all the boxes, white picket fence, blah, blah, blah. And when we took that exit ramp and decided to become entrepreneurs, that's when we decided to start living a life by design. And so we took that approach and built it into what, if we're designing our life, let's design it. What does it actually look like? What are the details?
Yeah. What do we want life to be? What do we want it to look like? What do we want it to feel like? And so we built that out.
And then once we have this description,
you've got a North Star.
We've got a North Star. We know where we're going. So then you can hold up every decision to that North Star.
So now everything we do, we check and see is in alignment with what it is we're trying to achieve. And so everything we do is related back to where we're trying to go. And so if we're doing something, if we get ourselves into another business that, I'm forced to throw a challenge flag, well, we're actually not going to now because we've already, before we started that business, now we would look at it from a perspective of, does this help us get what we want here? And so we just would not make that decision now.
Well, yeah. Had we done this exercise first,
we never would have started that business.
We never would have started that business. And like we said, we learned a lot from that business and that helped us in other things later. So
it was absolutely meant for us.
That was the path we had to travel.
Yes.
But going forward, to your point, now that we have this North Star, that we know where we're going, every decision.
But the really cool thing about that too is now the little things that come up in life in your relationship, they like the little naggy things, like they didn't put their socks in the whatever. Those little things don't matter because you're both on the same team driving towards something bigger. Like you've got your eyes on the bigger prize. Like you and your partner are building something big, something like special. And so it's those little things, the little, annoying little habits that someone has that,
like taking all the water out of the shower when they step out somehow.
Or stealing the sheets or things like that just don't matter. They really don't. We laugh about them because who cares? They don't matter because we are on to bigger and better things.
Having this North Star, having this, articulated vision, this shared vision of our future, like you said, puts us on the same team, but also gives us an us versus the world mentality.
Yeah.
Like it's us. We're on a team together. We're rowing in the same direction and we're heading towards the same place.
Yeah.
We may have different ideas of how to get there, but we're going to the same destination and we're working together to get there.
And we will talk about how to make it happen. Like you might have an idea of something. I might have an idea of something. Maybe it's the best approach is a combination of the two approaches. Mm-hmm. Whatever it is. But because you have a plan of where you want to go, then those conversations just become easier because you're on the same team. You're driving towards something bigger, and it just really reinforces that teamwork. So that's why when you have that dream situation, that path created for yourself, that destination,
shared common vision articulated.
Yeah, then that's when the teamwork really starts to come into play. Like it's really, that's where we came up with it's the dream work that makes the teamwork.
It's the dream that puts you on the same team and lights the fire
and gets you going. Yeah. So,
and it's like this has become such an important part of our relationship and what has made us successful in our relationship, especially in our entrepreneurial journey, but it's such a big part of the success of our relationship that it's become the fourth pillar in our program.
Yeah, it's a huge, I think when we started thinking about what really makes a relationship special, an exponential relationship, and how, we've been able to have that success in our relationship, I think we overlooked that part at first and then realized that no, this is key. This is a really important part that people need to know and start to implement in their relationship, because it does bring your relationship to an exponential level. Like it's one thing to go through the day to day, and if I personally see a huge difference in our relationship from when we were rudderless ships in the ocean. We had a good relationship. We were still meeting the other three components of our of an exponential relationship, but when we really honed in on the fact that it's the North Star, and it's the fact that we now join arms and we have this shared common vision. We're us against the world, going towards this thing and achieving this dream for ourselves, because we've gotten, we're two individuals. So we don't align on absolutely everything. You've got a picture of your dream life and I've got a picture of mine, but we come together and we create a shared dream life together, and that's what we build towards. So there's some compromise and there's some other things that go on in there, but by and large, it's your dream life and my dream life combined together in this exponential dream life that we're now driving towards. And I think that since we've honed in on that, and that to me in the last few years has really taken our relationship to another level. And I feel like that is the missing ingredient for a lot of people, is that they don't have that. They're just ships in the night passing. They're kind of just going through the motions of life, and there isn't that drive that's driving them towards something and creating that us versus the world mentality.
It's different. Like we were both ambitious people. We were both, successful in our corporate jobs. So we always had goals and visions for the future. Yeah. That the next promotion, those things always existed. But it's very different for us. It was very different to go from being on that sort of default life highway, living our corporate life, striving for the next promotion, the next bonus, the next share, you know, all of those things, the next shiny object in front of you, versus taking the time to actually decide what I want my dream life to look like and what you want your dream life to look like, and then combine them into to your point, because they're not going to be identical, but combine them into a shared common vision and now work towards that. Very different than each of us just working towards our next promotion.
Totally.
Our next vacation.
And it means so much more than that, because it's your dream. Like, work is one thing, and if you're passionate about it, maybe you can get close.
And that's one element of your dream life vision.
But when it's your dream life, it's the thing that you want more than anything in the world. That's just special. And that's a motivator.
Yeah.
And so that gets you going.
Even though we always had goals and things we were working towards, it's very different now to have that North Star than it was to have the next goal. And so I agree with you that we always had a very good relationship, because we had the first 3 dialed in,
we worked on it,
commitments dialed in. But this 4th pillar, this dream work makes the team work, this like commitment to future, this was the missing piece. And this is what, you know, how we, the last couple, like, this is how we finish the program. Like, this is how we set people up for success to go forward.
Yeah, it's I think it's a critical component that I think it's highly overlooked. And so I think it's just something that, and the takeaway here I think is just really give thought to what it is that you want your life to look like at the end of the day.
And then most of us don't do that.
And get clear on what that is, and then, you know, join forces with your partner, have the conversation what that is, and have that North Star.
And I think one of the critical pieces of that is to be as specific as possible. Being generic is not going to have the same effect as being specific.
So get clear on what it is that you want, and drive towards that. And I think that once you're able to do that, you'll find that it really is the dream work that's making the team work. Because like I said earlier,
making the relationship work.
It's really the little things day to day aren't going to matter as much, because you've got your eyes on that major prize of you know, your dream life situation. So anything else, McKay?
Nope, that's it for today.
That's it for this one, and we will talk to you when we talk to you.